Hey everybody, it's Daphne from Lore Entertainment. We are sitting down with an impromptu interview with the Mr. David Rountree, my old acting coach and good friend. How are you doing?
I am doing well. I'm enjoying a nice day out here in sunny Los Angeles. It's a little windy, windier than normal, but it's a nice day. I'm able to wear a short sleeve t-shirt and shorts, and unlike most of the country right now, so I'm not going to complain.
It's good to see you. We haven't talked in so long, except for
I know,
Instagram here and there.
right? Yeah, I've been able to keep up with you on Instagram a little bit. We haven't actually spoken in person in quite some time, so I'm happy we could get this organized today, and happy to be a part of it. It should be fun.
Oh yeah, I'm happy to have you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
So what have you been up to?
Well, a lot as always with the strike just now ending. It's kickstarted a lot of stuff back that's been dormant for a while. I've been a director now for a little over 20 years, and producer and writer. I started off as an actor, so we've got a lot of things in the works that got sidelined when the writer's strike hit, and then when the SAG strike hit on top of that, we really just let everything lay. And then when the writer's strike ended, of course, we wouldn't want to go back to work and do anything until the SAG strike ended. So it just ended. So now we're kind of regrouping and figuring out our next game plan. But then being at the end of the year, nothing's really going to get going until January. So it's in that weird time right now where it's kind of this limbo world, trying to figure out when things are going to happen. So doing that. Of course, I got a daughter who is just started middle school, and she's enjoyed the last 3 years being on her own television show. So we've been staying busy with that, and a lot of stuff. It's a lot of interesting stuff out here in Los Angeles.
How old is Chloe now?
She's 11. She'll be 12 next month, actually. So she's
Wow.
closing in on those teenage years.
Yeah, those are the fun years.
Well, not for the parent. I don't think. I think for the kids, maybe. She's already 11 going on 18, I think. So yeah, she's
He's still working?
yeah, she did. So she did all three seasons of her show. She was on Home Economics, of course, on ABC. She was one of the series regulars on that. Played Topher Grace's daughter. And with the writer strike hitting, the show was kind of left in limbo. It looked like it was going to get picked back up again, and then the SAG strike hit, and everything was just delayed over and over. And then ABC decided not to renew the contract, so the show did get canceled this year, unfortunately.
Wow.
So we'll see. It was a really nice 3 years. There's still outside chance to get picked up by somebody else. We don't know. I know the writers and creators, Michael Colton, John Abood, seemed at least optimistic things might happen, but I haven't heard anything about that in a while. So I don't know. Again, nothing's really going to happen, I think, to the new year anyway,
Yeah.
as it goes on. But either way, she had three good years of being a series regular on a show, working every single day, which is a huge accomplishment for anyone. Her being a kid, it's interesting. We've never put pressure on her to do anything. Of course, I'm in the business. My wife was in the business, so never put pressure on her to do anything. But she's grown up in the industry, so to be able to partake and be a part of a major television show for 3 years was a fun thing, and she got to see that side of it, and she enjoys it. So as long as she enjoys it, she can keep going.
Yeah, I don't believe in forcing kids to do things, you know what I mean, as far as the industry, because my daughter, she wants no part of the camera.
That's good.
You
Nothing wrong with that at all. There's nothing wrong with that.
Voiceover, animation,
Right.
yes. Camera, hell no. You
Right.
are lucky to even get pictures of her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're the same way. Pictures are very rare. We don't do a lot of events. We really don't do any events with her. Her social media, we really never pushed anything like that.
Mm.
She's had film roles come in where we kind of told her the concept of it, and she's like, I don't want to do it. And we're like, great, okay, pass on it. We just passed on an audition today for a series regular on the show, just because at this point in her time, we didn't feel this type of show was right for her. So we talked to her about it. She goes, I don't want to do it. It's like, great, don't do it. She's passed on big movies that came across because the content wasn't, something she was comfortable with, and we're fine with that. So
Yeah.
for me as a director, I definitely respect that. And again, as long as she's happy doing it, that's fine. We want her also to be a kid and enjoy being a kid. So
That's
that's
the
what
way
she
it
is.
should be.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
mean, seriously, that's the way it should be. I've had people, I've watched them get on to their kids because they're living vicariously through their
No,
children. And then it's always a conflict. And I'm like, I would never manage anybody who was under 18
right.
just because of that.
It's too much of a challenge, and it is a workaround with the parents. And being a director, I've done many projects. We've had to actually cast, kids in there. And I always tell the parents, we're casting the parents too, because it's not just, it's the kid in front of the camera, but it's the parent behind the scenes also we have to work with. And if we don't get along with the parents, then I'm not going to bring the kid on, no matter how good the kid is, because it is a working relationship. And I think seeing that side of it, I have no problem with my daughter saying, I don't want to do this role, but she still loves acting. And she's, even from an outside perspective, I think she's really talented at what she does and she enjoys it. All the kids on her show were super talented. When you watch them work, they're phenomenal. They're not like normal kids. We've coached kids at all levels as well at our studio. And it's the same thing. We see, quite a range, and some kids really early on pick it up pretty well. And there's a difference between those kids and kids who are just, the parents are kind of making them go. And you feel it when they're in the room. You feel it that I'm only here because mom wants me to be here. I'm only here because dad wants me to be here, as opposed to the kids who are really hungry and really enjoy what they're doing. And that's what we're trying to
do. She's adorable. I remember last time we did talk. Oh my God, that was a while back. She was doing Spanish, learning the Spanish side of it.
Well, she's fluent in Spanish. She's completely fluent. Right now she's learning Japanese. She's learning Korean on her own. She just wants to do it. So we're encouraging her. We got the Duolingo app. And now she's challenged me to learn Japanese too. And now I'm trying. Oh, I'm so bad. I am horrendous. And she quizzes me and is relentless. She's like Mr. Miyagi over top of me saying, what is the answer to this? What is it? I'm like, I don't know. And she's like, Dad. I'm like, oh my gosh. So she's
paint the fence.
Paint the fence. Wax on, wax off. I know. And she's on me about it every day. But I've got like an 18-day streak now on my Japanese Duolingo app, and I'm working on it. I'm getting there. I'm really bad. She's way better than I am at anything like that. But it keeps me working in the right direction with things too.
I was doing French on the same app for a while because I learned French when I was younger. I had to brush up on it.
Yeah.
I can read it, but it was relearning it. I can read it, no problem. But relearning it, I guess because I'm older than when I took it. So now it's taken a minute to set back into my head.
Right.
But Japanese, hell no. There's no way in how I could learn that.
Oh my gosh. I'm trying to learn the characters and how to write them. I can't do it. I mean, I'm sure I can, but it's hard. It's very difficult. And she picks up things so fast. And I think being, a kid 11 years old, they are like sponges. They pick up things much faster. But she's like, Dad, we just went over this. How do you not know this? I'm like, I don't know. My brain's broken. I don't know. I don't know what's happening. So
don't you think that's weird though? In other countries, they say that our language is hard to learn.
Right.
And when you reverse the role, it's just like, yeah, there's no way in hell.
Right.
Because English to us, of course, is so easy. But I don't know. I've never been in that situation.
Right. There are a lot of rules in English that make it more challenging, which I can see that side of it, but we've done it our whole lives, so it doesn't register. But yeah, the languages it's a challenge. I speak Spanish, sort of, nowhere near as well as my daughter, but picking up a third language on top of that is, I don't know. I'm not giving up though. I'm still working on it. So a year from now, we'll do another interview and I will do the entire thing in Japanese. That's really a lie, but I'll say that now to be working.
I wouldn't understand you.
Maybe I can get away with it. But, yeah, right. There you go.
So what projects, do you got any projects? I mean, that you can talk about that you're going to be working on next year?
A little bit. I've been in development on a TV series for some time now. And I can't really go into details about what the show is, which is really good. My co-creator is we've become really, really good friends over the last several years. And it all started kind of when COVID hit. We were both sitting around. We've talked about working together for many, many years. We've never done it. And it just kind of came about where we had downtime. And so we created this series, which is really fun. And it's really moving in a very, very, very positive direction right now. We have the entire first season is completely written and in development at the moment, and it looks great. So we're happy with that, but I can't go into details yet about too much about it.
What's it called?
I can't even say that. It's a fun show that's set in 1987, which is really fun, which is a really wonderful time period when you look at it, because there's a lot of things going on. And the type of story, it's a Goonies meets Stranger Things meets The Lost Boys minus the vampire sci-fi kind of thing. It's that Stand By Me, the up and coming, the kids growing up and hitting different milestones in their lives as they're all coming of age, in this thing. And the way we're telling it is very, very fun, where the stories kind of backtrack and tell. Episode 2 kind of picks up pieces of episode 1 we didn't see, and the scenes interact, and it's very, very creative the way it's told, and it's got some traction. So, but it's a lot of fun.
At
It's
least
really
it
fun
don't
putting it
have
together.
the one guy, the guy in the, oh my God, it with the blue
Yeah, that's not.
transitioning among their lives later
Yeah,
on.
yeah, that's not going to be there. That's not going to be there.
I had to
But
think of that for a second.
I have done a lot of in my career. I have done a lot of. I've done 6 feature films now. So as a director, producer, I've done a lot of dark, twisted things, horror, thriller kind of movies as well. And I've never had a monster movie, so to speak. I've done character horror. We've had a
Mhm.
primary character that is on the lines of like a monster, but I've never done like a, Friday the 13th or Jeepers Creepers. Now Jeepers Creepers is interesting because they've done 3 of those now, and the guy Jonathan Breck plays the creeper. He plays the main monster and all the makeup for all the entire movies. My very first feature I directed, he was my lead. One of my leads, which is really cool. We became good friends. I started off as an actor, and I met him in Oklahoma in a film that we worked on together. And
Mhm.
I had this script that I wrote because everyone kept saying you have to do a feature. I've done a bunch of short films. You have to do a feature. Got to do a feature. So I wrote one, and I knew nothing about doing a feature film. I was trying to find a director to do it, and I talked to Jonathan and I asked him. I said, "Hey, would you mind reading it?" We had all this downtime on set, and he said he would, and he read it, and he said it's got some legs. And he goes, "You got to find a way to make it. Just find a way to get it done. It's your first one. Don't expect it to be a big blockbuster. Don't expect it to be, an Oscar-winning performance or anything like that. Just get it done." And I said, "Okay, I'll get it done, but you have to agree to be in it because I need a name to get my movie made." And so he agreed, and that's how I got my first feature film made. So he was a part of it, but it was a train wreck. It was so many things that on the side, because I was director, I was the writer, I was also a producer of this thing. And, as we've talked about, producing is very challenging because there's lots of different people have different hats on, and there's lots of people putting their hand in and saying they'll do things and not coming through, or some people come through more than expected. And it's, you learn as you go. In my first feature, I made 10,000 mistakes, so many mistakes. Then it got better. My second one, I made less mistakes of those, but I made bigger mistakes because the budget was higher. My film after that, I eliminated a lot of those, but the budget was even higher, and I made even more mistakes on a bigger scale, but I fixed all the small ones. So you get better as you go. Producing's not easy. I'm not necessarily a fan of producing. I have now produced quite a few, but it's not something I really get excited about. I like the creative side, but the creative side often comes with the business side, and it is a business. So you got to learn how to balance it all. And that's
Yeah,
the biggest challenge, I think, putting it all together.
producing's not very, I mean, it's worth it in the ends,
Mhm.
but people don't realize that you are literally responsible for everything.
Oh yeah.
Everything. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
everything. And it's just sometimes it could be overwhelming. Sometimes
Sometimes. Always. Always. Yes, you're right.
well,
It
you
is. It
know,
can be. Yeah, I know.
and then other times you want to be curled up in a corner somewhere with a bottle of tequila.
Right? Absolutely.
It's factors,
Absolutely.
I guess. But I mean, at the end of it, then you've got something really awesome.
Right. And that's one
That's
reason I enjoy feature films is it's like an individual project that's kind of encompassed inside like a little balloon. And so when you're done with that project, you take the balloon, you put it away, and it's done, and then you can move on to something else.
yeah.
And so I do enjoy that aspect of it. Therefore, if you have 6 balloons and one's not so great, it's not the end of the world, but you can move on and do something else. But each one builds. So each one that I've done has gained the next one for me along the line. I've been very fortunate. My last 2 were in theaters across the country, so that was a big accomplishment. One of my movies is actually in theaters in India at the moment, which is kind of cool. It was scheduled to go into theaters back before COVID hit. When COVID hit, all theaters shut down, so they sidelined it, didn't do anything, and they just brought it back about 6 months ago. And at the moment, it's still running over there, as far as I know. I think it is still.
Yeah.
So having stuff out there is kind of cool because I made that movie way back before COVID, and it still has life to it, which is kind of fun. So when you do a project, they take that balloon and they can bring it back out and play it again, which is kind of fun. But as far as my producing work on that side, I'm done with it. So now it's just kind of a bonus that it gets done, and I'm trying to find the next thing. And I do have a couple scripts that I'm working on in the creative side of writing, which I'm
Mhm.
excited about. It's just finding time to put it all together. That's the challenge.
Are you still doing the studio?
Oh
You
yeah,
still have the studio.
yeah. We have a studio, so we're LA Acting Studios, which is, you can look us up. It's easy, laactingstudios.com. LA for Los Angeles, of course. And We have almost well, I think you've never been there, have you? You've seen it maybe online when we did
No,
Zoom days before, right?
I was gonna come out there, and then that was all when COVID was going down,
Right,
remember? And then we
right,
all
right,
got
right,
sidetracked on that, and I didn't get to make it out there. But yeah, when I'm out
right.
there, I'm definitely gonna stop in.
Yeah, stop in.
Yeah.
It's fun. We have so we're the only acting class that I'm aware of anyway that has actors train on real film sets with real film crews and real cameras. So
Mhm.
most acting classes are designed as like an open stage. You kind of get in there and you just do your thing. For me as a director, the biggest thing I found was that only goes so far as the acting process goes, because you learn how to be raw and emotional. But in film and television, we're telling stories inside little boxes. And if you don't know how to play inside of a box, you're done, and it really hurts you when you come to set. And so many times I've cast actors who come into work and they don't know how to play inside of a box. They're used to the big stage environment. They were never held accountable for continuity, for audio, for blocking, for all the little nuances that have to be done to tell a story. Because in the end, filmmaking is the visual art of telling stories. We're telling stories. So we have to learn how to physically tell the story, emotionally tell the story. And classes out here, unfortunately, most of them are just the emotional side of telling a story, how to get to that raw emotional place. But that may not be the most interesting story. So we're really teaching storytelling. I was very fortunate. I taught film for a long time, many years ago in the early 2000s. I taught film for 8 years at an environment where I was uh, privileged to teach a lot of high profile kids. I mean, not 5 year olds, but 14, 15, 17, 18-year-old kids. I taught Schwarzenegger's kids, Sylvester Stallone's kids, Harrison Ford, Oliver Stone, Jack Nicholson, Reese Witherspoon, Adam Sandler, Harrison Ford, a bunch of them. But Callie Clovis is one of my kids that I work with. And Callie's father, Steve Clovis, who wrote all the Harry Potter movies. So Steve became very instrumental early on in my career for really helping me understand storytelling and the art of storytelling and how to go about it and do it, and kind of pointed me in the right direction for my career to kind of propel and move in the right direction as a writer, as a director. Because even as a director, I didn't understand storytelling when I first got started. Once I really understood how kind of it all works, it changed the way I look at things, which really helped kickstart my career. So being in that environment, it changed the way now that I write, the way I direct, the way things are edited, also the way I coach my actors. And I try to teach actors to understand this art of storytelling, because if they don't understand storytelling, they can be very, very believable,
Yeah.
but it doesn't mean it's interesting to anybody else. And if an actor say, well, I've been in jail, that's not how I played it in real life. I'm like, yeah, but if there was a camera following you 24 hours a day in jail, how much of that would actually be interesting in a movie? Maybe an hour's worth of it, maybe 20 minutes of it, right? So it's not about playing it realistic all the way. It's finding the best story in it so you can get the audience engaged in what you do. And so we really teach that at our studio, and actors get all their footage, which is fun. Even our online class is the same thing. So we really teach story, how to break down material so actors can see the best story in what we're doing, not just being believable. So
Yeah,
it's
that's funny. Well, that's not how I played it in real life. Okay, what the hell did you go to jail for?
exactly, that was my question. Right. That's a real conversation I had with an actor one time. I'm like, why
What are
did you
you
go to
really
jail?
doing in the jail?
Exactly, right. She's like, I just sat there and slept all day. That's what honestly what she told me. And I was like, okay, well, who's gonna want to watch you sleep for 2 hours in a movie or 4 minutes in a scene? It's not interesting. It's not wrong. And I tell them it's not wrong, but it's not interesting. And we
Yeah,
have to understand filmmaking is the visual art of telling stories, and also audio has a lot to do with it too, but it's storytelling. So if we can't tell effective stories, we're not going to get the audience to engage. They're not going to care in what we do, and they're going to tune us out. And today's world is a 30-second world. It takes no time for somebody in the audience to pick up their phone and start checking their text messages. Or if they're watching something on television, go, let's see what else is on. Right? If you pay $18 or $25 for a movie ticket, you're probably going to stay in the movie theater and watch it no matter what, because you paid that much. But you got to understand storytelling. And if you don't understand it, we're going to lose the audience, and they're not going to go back and see anything else you ever do or care. If you're in a movie and you're boring, they're not going to go watch it. Right? If
exactly.
some of these big movie stars, there's a reason why we like them. There's a reason why. It's because they're compelling to watch on the screen. And so we really try to work that aspect of it. As a director, I've worked hard to tell stories like that. At our studio, we've done several short films on top of that where actors can work. One of our films recently went to the Cannes Film Festival a couple years ago. So that was a big accomplishment, to get something all the way to really next to Sundance, the most prestigious film festival on the planet.
Yeah.
Although in Cannes, they may argue theirs is the most prestigious, which maybe it is, but um, I don't know. But to get a film all the way to there, and again, it was a really good story that our actors brilliantly portrayed the story and didn't just focus on how can I just be raw and emotional in the scene. So it's a lot of little nuances go into it. That's what we work on.
So how's football going along? Are you still playing?
I haven't played in a long time. Holy cow! Holy cow! Um, I
I thought you
after
were going to go back into it. I remember last time that's what we were
yeah,
talking about. You going back
I
into
know.
football.
I think that was more of a wild dream. So after 13 knee surgeries and a spine surgery, I think it's safe to say my career is done.
Oh shit.
Yeah. I did get my look. So, being a college athlete, I was drafted in football in the RFL Regional Football League. I had a look at the Washington Redskins. Um, and anytime a kicker missed a kick in a game, I get my text messages flood in. Hey man, you up for kick? Of course, they're just, kind of messing around me at this point. So that's kind of fun. But I did the last several years help out at Los Angeles Valley College, and I helped their kickers over there and helped train them so they can learn and get better with what they do. And I would go out there and kick some balls around with those guys every once in a while, and every
Yeah.
once in a while, old man's got to show them they can do it a little bit, and show them what's up. But I don't think I could do it. I have no desire to do it anyway at this
It's
point.
like Burt Reynolds in the new Longest Yard.
Hey, old man, what are you doing out here? I'm like, yeah, I know, that's me. That's me. So yeah.
I'm about
But
to open up a can of whoop ass.
exactly. But I was a wide receiver and defensive back all through college as well. So I got out there and I can mix it up with those guys a little bit, enough to let them know, at least so they can respect that I used to have some skill back in the day. But these kids today, they're pretty talented. So
Yeah.
hanging with them out on the field it's a fun challenge, and I play the part, but as soon as I walk off the field, I'm out of sight. I start limping and my back hurts for a week. So I'm just like, okay, I'm good. I won't let them see that, but
You hide the ibuprofen.
oh, I don't even hide that anymore. I'm just like, all right, we're getting ready to go. Let me take 4 of these things. Here we go. So the trainer's like, okay, I'm on standby. I'm watching you. Just let me know when you're ready for me. I'm like, yeah, won't be long.
Stretcher standing by.
Exactly. Exactly. But yeah, I do have fun with it. I talked to a kicker yesterday about going out and working with him again a little bit. And it's fun just getting out there. It does help me at least feel reasonably younger at times, just being out there, and that I'm able to contribute and help these kids out too. I say kids, but they're college. They're 21 years old. So, but they're kids,
I do the same damn thing. And my
Right.
kids are, God, 28 down.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's just like you see all these they're adults, but to me they're not,
They're
I
kids,
still
yeah.
look at them like they're kids.
I know.
They're kids,
I know.
Don't call me that. That's what you hear.
Oh gosh, I know. Even these college kids, they're athletes, they're college athletes, but I still talking to them just there's a different level, where
Yeah.
you really still feel like they're kids at some point. Of course, they'll argue with you on it. Even my 11-year-old, she's not, she's an adult in her eyes, as they go through.
You
And
know what pisses me off? When they say, you guys are old. Because you're over
yeah,
30. You're old. What the hell, man?
I know, I know, I know. I started getting the grades popping in, and trying to at least feel reasonably young as I go through, but it's okay. I'm embracing it reasonably well, I think. I go to the gym still 6 days a week. I've been working out, trying to stay in shape that way at least, and feel decent at times. But it hurts when I get up in the morning. I feel my back. I feel my knees. I'm still not gonna lie about that.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
End of
the
the
back
day,
thing's a big thing.
yeah, the back. I had spine surgery. I got a scar on. You see it? I got a scar right there on my neck, right there. They had to go into the front of my neck and open it up and fuse my vertebrae together several years ago from an injury. And yeah, and so when it gets cold outside or something, I wake up. I'm like, oh gosh, I'm getting old. Holy cow, where am I going to be when I'm 80? If I even make it that far, So
I need a temporary loan.
I know.
Can you loan me a new body?
What's funny is I used to never sit in my director chair at all on set because I'm always up moving around. The older I get, the more I'm like, I could sit a little bit here now. Let me just take a little break here and lean back a little bit. So
Mhm.
I'm a very, very active director on set when I move around. I try to be anyway, because I feel like I want to give that, energy to the actors working. But the older I get, at the end of the day, I'm like, I'll sit down for a few minutes. You guys are good. Do your thing.
As long
Yeah.
as you don't sit and just you
Yeah.
guys take it from here.
My 80's good. He's got you. He's got you. You're good. Just I'm like old grandpa sitting in the corner over here. What are you gonna do with Pops? You can't sit here. Wheel him in the garage or something. We got company coming over. I'm like, yeah, I know, that's me. So now
Aging sucks sometimes.
I know, I know. I'm fighting it though, fighting it, but it's okay. Not too bad.
Yeah. Oh my god, that's so funny. Good lord. So what else have you been up to besides learning Japanese and well, now you're not doing football. What else? What other
Yeah,
hobbies you throwing yourself into?
we've been working on our show for quite some time, and that's taken a lot of time. Being in the writers' room for that, and uh, when the writers' strike hit, it did give us a break, and we haven't really regrouped since then because we do have all of our episodes for season one done now at the moment. They're tentatively done. I mean, of course, things will change when it goes into production as it gets there, but for now, it's done at the moment. So it's a little bit of time to focus on other things. I don't even know if you knew this since we last spoke. Since we last spoke, my house burned down. Um,
Are you
yeah,
serious?
yeah, my house burned down. We just moved back in. I'm at my house now. We just moved back in maybe 3 months ago after being out for like 18 months. So yeah, our house burned
Carla's
down.
going through the same thing as you are.
Yeah,
Carla Christina Contreras from the
right,
Screen Actors Guild.
right.
She's going through the same damn thing right
Holy
now.
cow.
Yeah.
Wow. It's hard. It's a weird thing because I was home doing a Zoom just like this, exactly like this. 12 o'clock, I was coaching an actor. It was at noon, and I came home just to coach this actor. She had an audition. She submitted it, and her agent came back and says, "No, we can't submit this. It's just not good at all." So she was in she's one of our masterclass actors, and she told me that night. She goes, "I don't know what to do. I did this audition. I did a self tape. My agent hates it. Will not submit it." And I said, "Well, let me look at it, and I can help you out with this thing because I hadn't seen the material yet." And so I said, "So tomorrow at noon, call me, and I can help coach you," because she just made some, I guess, some decisions that didn't play in the character. I don't know what it was. So at noon, we start talking. I come back. We start the Zoom. I'm at home, and at 12:05, all the power in the house goes. Zoom cut out everything. I'm like, "That's weird. What's happening?" So I sent her a message. I'm like, "Hey, power went out. Let me get it restored. I'll Zoom back as soon as it gets up. I'll text you when I'm back up." So I'm like, "What the heck's going on?" I walked out in my living room and I see smoke, and I'm like, "What is going on? Why is there smoke in my living?" I was home by myself. It made no. I didn't even fathom the idea of a house fire. It didn't even cross my mind. I'm like, "Why is there smoke in my living room?" It was so bizarre, and my brain was like, "Is somebody like grilling outside and somehow the smoke's coming?" It didn't even. I can't even explain how much denial I was in at that moment. It was a house fire. And I'm
Yeah.
like, "What is?" So I walk out my back porch, which is kind of where I am now. I walk around the corner of the house, and like, "What is happening here?" And I see smoke coming up from the roof. And I put the ladder up there. I walk up, and I literally see flames on my roof. And I'm like, "Why are there flames?" It still didn't even process. It was happening so real. It was such a surreal moment. I didn't even process it was a real fire at this point. I still couldn't figure out why is there smoke coming on my roof. And then I saw the flames, and I was like, "Holy crap, my roof's on fire!" So I came back down the ladder, ran inside. I grabbed towel and I grabbed my phone. I went running back upstairs. I'm calling 911. I'm up at the roof and I'm fighting the fire with the towel. I'm on the call with 911. I said, "My house is on fire." Um, and they said they would send somebody out, firefighters. And I hung up the phone. It happened so fast. I don't really remember everything, but it seemed like it was 20 minutes where the firefighters came up. But I'm on my roof. I'm fighting the fire. My neighbor comes running over. Of course, flames are like everywhere now, my whole roof. And he runs over and he's yelling at me. He's former LA SWAT, and he's a big old guy, looks like a professional wrestler. And he's like, "Get off the roof now, it's going to
No
collapse."
shit.
And I'm like, "Hand me the hose, give me the garden hose, give me the garden hose." He's like, "Get off the damn roof." I'm like, "Give me the garden hose." So he gives me the garden hose, and I'm trying to run. I'm spraying water all over, like in my attic and everything. I mean, there was a little hole, like vents and everything, spraying water in the vents, and smoke just went everywhere. These black smokes all over the place. Couldn't see anything. It was bright. My eyes were burning, and I'm fighting it. As I get there, finally the firefighters come down the street. They put the big ladder. They get up on the roof. They talk me down. They're like, "You have to get off the roof now." And I'm like, "But I have to put the fire out." It didn't even register with me. These are firefighters. Like, that's their job. Get off the roof. Let them do it. I'm like, "All right." So they talk me down. I get off the roof, and I go back and I stand in my driveway and I look back, and flames are everywhere. Like my entire roof's on fire. Everybody in the neighborhood's come out at this point to see what's going on. And
Wow.
I didn't even think at the time. I was barefoot. I'd been up there on the roof. Firefighters come and they get me back. They put a pair of shoes on me, and I don't know where they got from my closet or something, but the shoes, I put them on and I'm standing there and I'm watching the fire for about 20 minutes. Um, they're working to get it out and they're doing an amazing job. Firefighter came out and he says, "What's important? Where is it?" I said, "We have a box in our closet of valuable documents. It's in a folder, and in my office I have hard drives." He said, "I'll do what I can." He runs in the house. He comes back. He's got the documents, sets them down, comes back, got hard drives, brought them out as a box right there. Goes, "What's next? What's next valuable?" And he's talking to me very directly. I've never been in this situation. And I'm trying to like tell him where things are. And he goes, "I'll see what I can do." Comes in. Anyway, my feet at that point started really hurting. And I'm like, "God, these shoes are so tight. It doesn't make any sense."
Yeah.
And I kind of fought it. I didn't realize my feet were already incredibly burnt up from standing on the roof in the fire. I had no clue. They were just all ripped to hell. Had no clue because you get the adrenaline going. You don't feel it. You know, you don't think anything of it.
Yeah.
So finally, the firefighters are putting the fire out. My wife called me at some point. She's like, "Hey, she picked up my daughter from school. So luckily, my daughter wasn't home. My mother-in-law was with my wife, so she wasn't in the house either. It was my dog and I. My dog was out. My dog was fine. My neighbor was holding my dog, and she goes, "Hey, I'm trying to come home, but I can't get on. Like, the firefighters have blocked off the whole dang neighborhood. I don't know what the hell's going on." And I said, "That's our house on fire." She went, "Ha ha, yeah, LOL." And I'm like, "No, for real. Like, that's our house on fire." So anyway, after some time, she got in, and the fire basically destroyed every single thing we owned. And it's not even the flames; it's the smoke damage that does all the work.
Yeah.
Smoke gets infused, and like anything fabric is trash. It's all gone because you can't wash it out. It's not because it just infuses with the DNA of the fabric or whatever the heck's going on. So luckily, the most important stuff got saved, but everything else was gone.
Wow.
So that
Oh
was
my God.
tough. So insurance did a pretty good job of helping us out. We were insured, which was good. We went to a temporary hotel that night with nothing, like nothing but the clothes on my back. That's all I had. And even that smelled like smoke because I was fighting the fire. So it was a tough time. My daughter lost all of her stuff. But it was a good lesson about how things are just material stuff anyway. You know, and that was
It
good.
is.
So
I mean, material, the shitty part, because that's what I was talking to Carla about earlier, actually. Materials can be replaced.
right.
But the only shitty part, because I've been through 2 house
Uh,
fires,
holy cow.
and it's the stuff like your pictures
Right.
and stuff like that that you know for a fact can't be replaced,
Right. Which is the
you
reason I
know?
wanted the hard drives. The hard drives had all of our pictures and things like that on it. That's what
Yeah.
I wanted to try to salvage and get that. But I wasn't worried about like I wasn't like save my computer because it wasn't on the computer, it was on the hard drive. I wasn't like save the TVs, that's fine, whatever. But they did a pretty good job about saving the important stuff. Um, and then we lived in a hotel for a long time. And ironically enough, our hotel caught on fire the very first week we're in there.
Are you serious?
I was like,
What
like, what is happening? I know. So in LA, there's a lot of homeless because our
the
weather's reasonably warm all year. Not that it's
Yeah.
warm. It does get cold for sure, but there's a homeless population. So where they had us at a hotel that is right on the corner of a freeway entrance, the 101 freeway. And there's a homeless encampment kind of behind in the woods. And I guess whatever they were doing, they started a fire. And the flames, my wife sent me a picture. She's like, "Our hotel's on fire." And I wrote this time like, "Yeah, right. Ha ha." No, it was for real. I guess they started a fire and it burnt right up next to the hotel. So they had to evacuate the hotel. At that point, insurance were like, "We got to go somewhere else." So they moved us to a different hotel. And we were in that for a couple months. And then we ended up moving to a temporary house in our neighborhood, just down the street, not too far. And we lived there up until just a few months ago. So dealing with that, moving now 3 times was a bit of a thing, trying to balance our lives and handle everything, and just the traumatic like stress that is involved with my daughter being a kid going through this. I can't even imagine that coming off of COVID too, which all the COVID, what that damage that's done to kids and socially, it's just it's tough.
That is crazy. What started it in
So
your house?
it was electrical. I guess I'm not really sure exactly. We have theories. We had a big giant tree, which was ironically, I don't know if you can see it. There's a big gap, like right over there. There was a big giant oak tree right there
Yeah.
that fell down. We had a rainstorm. It doesn't ever rain in LA, so it rained, and when it
Yeah.
rained, the big oak tree just collapsed. Humongous tree, and it landed really like right, it was right in between. Like I've got my like a nice little koi pond out here. It's fun. My
Yeah.
deck. It landed right. It didn't hit anything. And it was so convenient that it landed perfectly like that. It was a blessing that didn't land on the house. So 2 weeks after that is when we had the fire. So the theory is when the big oak tree fell, that somehow the roots underneath lifted up underneath the house
Mhm.
because there was wires in the ceiling that got pinched somehow. And so we're thinking maybe it wasn't like anybody's fault. It was just somehow the wires got pinched. And when they did an arson investigation, of course, because it's insurance, thinking,
Yeah.
make sure we didn't set the fire. And he found where it was. And he goes, it looks like this wire's been sparking for a few weeks. So it looks like, and we had really high winds that day, and we think the winds just caught it and it went up. The
Wow.
scary thing was it was in the attic. So by being in the attic, I saw the flames and the smoke before the fire alarms went off, fire detectors, because smoke rises.
Yeah.
So being in the attic, smoke went up. So if it had happened in the middle of the night, we'd have been gone. I mean, knock on wood, it didn't happen. But that's scary. So
Yeah.
now we have smoke detectors in the attic too, because I never even thought about that, never crossed my mind. But I never would have heard. If it happened midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, that'd been it.
Yeah. I mean, especially if they didn't go off to even during the
Right,
day, let alone at night, that would
right,
have not ended well at all.
right. And it happened right above my office where I was working. So if I hadn't come out, I mean, luckily, I guess the power got shut off because it burnt through the wires or whatever. If it hadn't shut off, I would have been trapped in my office with no way out. So it's a lot of like potential scary stuff, but I'm happy to be here. As it goes through.
That
And
is crazy, man.
I
Yeah, no
know.
shit. I'm glad nothing happened to you guys.
Yeah, I know.
That's just it. I
There's
don't know what the hell's going on with all the fires lately.
Yeah,
It's just crazy. But when you mentioned hotel, I went to my son's wedding in Texas, and it was probably like 11:30 at night. The alarm system started going off in the hotel. Luckily, it was nothing to do with the fire. Thank God it was somebody in there smoking in the hotel
right.
and set the alarm off. But oh my God, I
I just
just
saw recently it was a wedding that these people tragically died. They put some kind of like fire effect in there. They were shooting off sparks and the whole ceiling caught on fire and it was like horrible.
really,
I don't know. I don't mess with fire now at all. I'm have a whole new respect for fire after going through something like that.
I can't
Um,
believe your ass stayed on the roof after they're sitting there telling you, get the hell down.
I was like, no, I'm putting my fire on. They're like, that's what we're here to do, and I didn't register. I guess we have an app called the Citizens app in Los Angeles. I'm sure it goes other places, but you can log into Citizens app if you see something going on. You can do a live feed, and people can log into your neighborhood and see what's going on in your neighborhood. And I guess my friend who I called back while I was on the Zoom, I said my house on fire. She goes, I know, I'm watching right now on the Citizens app, and I guess somebody posted a video. Some crazy person is on their roof with a garden hose. I'm expecting I assume they're the homeowner trying to put the fire out. They're nuts, and they're like commenting their video. I haven't seen the video, but I'm up there, I guess, trying to fight this fire like a moron barefoot. You know,
Wouldn't let the people do their job. I
kicking the
got this,
firefighters
man.
off.
Stay
I
back.
got it. Get out of here. I got it. That's my audition for one of those firefighter shows. On
Well,
TV.
you better get it after that shit.
I want to direct it and write it. I don't want to act in it anymore. I just want to direct it and write it. So
You should.
I know. I
You
know.
should. I'm
I
telling you.
say,
Oh my
write
God.
what you know. I have firsthand experience now in that. So it's
I just can't believe that you just jumped. Well, I mean, the ladder and then you came down, then go back up.
yeah,
Oh my
back up.
God, man. I would have just had to sit back like, oh shit, because it's on the roof. I'm not climbing up there. There's no way, sorry. I'm just going to wait for them.
Right.
Try to grab what I can anyway.
Well, my first thought was that it was leaves that had fallen off of like the big oak tree that was here. Like
Yeah.
there were leaves on our roof. And so my first thought was it's just on the surface, the leaves are on fire, like not the actual structure.
Yeah.
Until I saw, and I was up there at that point until I saw the smoke coming out from, and it was coming on our far side of our house over there. My neighbor was over there. He was yelling, over there because it was coming out on his side as well. And he got the garden hose on that side. He was trying to put the fire out and hit, it was a neighborhood event that was going on,
Jesus, man.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, but the
crazy.
firefighters were so cool. They were so amazing. They were so calm and professional. I didn't know what to expect, but they were really, really cool with everything, and they were very helpful all the way out. And the crazy thing is, as soon as and I'm totally gonna write a movie about this at some point because it's just too fun. Um, as soon as it was happening, like the fire is on my roof, literally still blazing. I'm standing in my driveway. We had people who were listening in on scanners who came in and goes, "Hey, I'm with Home Restoration. Here's my card. Hey, I'm an attorney. Here's my card. Hey, call me." And like, can my house stop burning down before you're soliciting your services? Like, you're an ambulance chaser. Get the hell away from me. It was a mess. And then my wife came in. She really started like going off on them to all back up because they were.
Seriously? That's what they did?
That's what they did. As the fire is on my roof, they are literally handing me their cards. Like, hey, call me. Here's this. They were trying to. I was like, oh my gosh, wow.
That must be some LA type shit. I mean, I get it, because anywhere else, it's not like that. People aren't going to come up and be like, so do you need your house painted? You know what I mean?
That's kind of what it was. We do fire restoration. We do this. We do this. We do this. Hey, if you need to sue somebody, here's this. We go after insurance companies. We go after, whatever it is. And I was like,
Oh my God.
and so at the end of the day, we had a whole stack of cards from people who were right there, and they just hung back and they waited just so they could get one-on-one time to talk after. Companies that do, and they were listening in on the scanners, and they heard fire in I live in Sherman Oaks, a neighborhood in Los Angeles. Fire in Sherman Oaks. They came flying over just to solicit services. I'm like,
So they
wow,
did
that's
cannonball run to your house so they could give you a card.
exactly
That's some bullshit.
pretty shady stuff.
Yeah,
I
it
know.
is. It is.
I know.
I would have had the police remove them. I would have told the cop, hey, get this person off the lawn because right now I'm
Yeah.
ready to wring somebody's neck,
I know. I know. And I was still taking. My wife was the one arguing with him. She was getting mad at him. She said some things to him to get him out, get him back, which is good.
Wow.
And it was really kind of interesting watching that side of it. With my wife getting powerful with it, which was fun.
I
Because
would have let her go.
she kicked them butt. I did. I was like, no, you got it. Take care of it. That's great. She was handling it. So
Wow, that's just freaking insane, man.
so that's what I've been up to. Trying to
Yeah.
work movies, our studio, work this TV show, and with my daughter starting middle school and a fire. So it's been a lot since we last spoke, Daphne. I'll tell you.
Hell yeah, it has. I'm serious. For both of us.
Right?
I mean, I've had a really crazy year myself. My brother passed away in February, and then my nephew, and they were the same age. They were raised together. Ended up passing away in August.
Holy cow.
So it was back to back. Not to mention, I mean, I know there's a lot of people out there about animals, but technically I've went through 5 in
Wow.
1 year because we had lost 2 cats that were brothers, which was screwed up the same year, months apart. And then all of this, it's kind of weird the way that happened because it was one cat in March and the other cat in August. Then it was my brother February, March, and then the nephew August. It was so weird. And then my neighbor died over here and I was good friends with him. And it was just everything that happened this year. It's just been, oh my God, so crazy on top of
That's a
what I've
lot.
been doing. And I had to deal with that whole death, my brother's death anyway, myself. So yeah, I went and I had to handle all the planning. Then I had to be I was the one who went and identified him. I was in a room by myself with him on a slab. Yeah, it's just been crazy. I mean,
It's
a
awful.
crazy ass year for me.
Right.
And I've just literally thrown myself into my work. Everybody's like, what are you doing? Working. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Working. And I'm talking from probably 9:30, 10 a.m. until 4 a.m. every single day because I've literally thrown myself into the work. And it's been a shitty ass year. I'll be glad to get it over with. I'm telling you.
Right.
I'll be real glad to get this year over with because
I can
it just needs
imagine.
to be done. Yeah, it's
Wow.
crazy. But you deal with it and you have to move on.
Yeah, it's all part of life, and it gives you experience, and
Yeah.
positive and negative. The negative makes you appreciate the positive. Like the house fire made me appreciate so many other things. Everything you go through makes you appreciate other things in life, and if everything is easy, you don't appreciate it. And
Yeah.
it's you go through some bad, crappy stuff at times. Everybody does, and everybody can relate to bad, crappy stuff at times too. But you come through on the other side, and you have experiences. Like making my first movie, 10,000 Mistakes. Well, it was crappy, it was terrible, but I learned from it. everything you go through, deaths, tragedy, fires, whatever it is, you get through it and it makes you stronger as a person, but also gives you an appreciation of the good things, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I've always been that type of person where, the material shit,
Mhm.
but this year, one thing I did learn after all of that was life insurance is a big damn deal, you know?
Yeah,
I mean, he was young, so he wasn't even thinking about that,
right.
and it's just like after I had to deal with everything, I never planned no funeral
Yeah,
ever. So it was just like, yeah, I'm gonna set shit up and get the life insurance, which I wasn't even thinking about it,
right.
until that all happened. But after that, it's just but material shit, that's what I try to tell everybody, like when we're doing these interviews with the directors and everything, everybody I bring on, they're so cool. But there are people out there that are above thee with their materialistic shit. And I try to make it clear, like, that shit doesn't matter. It doesn't
Right.
matter. You can't take that with you when you die. You need to be
Exactly.
normal, be humble, be a good friggin' person. You cannot
Mhm.
just base yourself on materialistic shit because nobody cares.
Yeah.
You can't take
Yep.
it. They're not going to bury you with it. You know? I mean, would you rather be loved or
Right.
liked, or would you rather be known for, being a materialistic ass?
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
sorry. I care more about humans and feelings and helping people versus being up there and being an ass.
Exactly.
Material I've lost so much shit in my life to where materialistic shit can always be replaced.
Every bit of it. And you
Exactly.
and you learn what you don't really need also, you know?
That's true.
Yeah.
Yep.
And when we inventoried everything we lost, part of it was a little embarrassing at times too, because it's like, wow, we had a lot of crap. Like I didn't need all this crap. I didn't need
Yeah.
it. I didn't need three-quarters of the stuff, 80% of it, 90% of it. And why do we hold on to it? Who knows? Maybe nostalgic value, whatever it is. But there's an accumulation, and I know in LA especially, there's this, the idea of it's the status of having things, but once you get past that, everybody's on the same level. And if you can look past that, which is, we're trying to do here. So my daughter, we never stress that, anything with her. It's not a big deal. Like, and she never put it that I'm on a show, I'm better than you. And that never crossed her mind because we never raised her like that.
Yeah.
And that's the mentality we're trying to get, which I think it's not about the material stuff. It's not about the job stuff, it's just about being a good person, trying to help other people, and and
Yeah.
live life to the fullest, and trying to. And it's easier said
Right
than
there.
done, for sure, but that's what it is. And and being able to spend time and be part of a family, be part of things outside, because the work is one thing. And if you get so wrapped up in that all the time, it will take over,
Yeah.
and in LA especially, there's this material. And I tell the actors, like, it's all the time from actors. I said, what is your goal? They're like, well, I came out to LA, I'm giving myself a year to make it. I hear that all the time. I'm like, make it? What does that mean? Make it? A year to make it. What does that mean? Because the thing with this industry is, what, you got a national commercial? It doesn't mean you made it, but that's great. That's a big accomplishment. Congrats. That's awesome. But at the same time, once you get a taste of that, you work one day at a national commercial, you make $25,000 or whatever it is for one day. You're like, oh my God, that was insane. It's hard to go back to a 9 to 5. Doesn't mean you made it. So then what, you book an independent film as a little tiny role? Well, that's great. But then you want more. Then you want more. Then you get your first network TV credit as a co-star. You get 3 lines on a TV show. Oh my God, that was amazing. Now I want to have a bigger part. Now I want to get a full scene that's I'm the star of the scene. Now I want to get a guest star where the show's about me. Now I want to get a recurring role where I've got three or four episodes on it. Now I want to get a leading role, a series regular. Now I want to do a big studio film. It never ends. And so there is no made it in my eyes. And you have to just accept where you are and be okay with that. I think that there's a lot of misinformation out there where actors, it's a tough business, because as actors, directors, writers, everything, if you're not careful, you'll never be satisfied with anything. And it's this insatiable desire that a lot of people don't even understand they have, where they're never going to be satisfied no matter what. And it's learning how to
Yeah.
separate that and not define that as your own self-worth or your happiness. Because somebody's always going to have more work than you. Someone's going to have a nicer car than you. They're going to have a nicer house than you, whatever it is. And if you're always trying to catch up to them, you're never going to be happy with anything, and
Exactly. I mean, I'm right there on that same waves because like you said, making it okay. There is no guarantee that everybody that goes into this film industry is going to make it. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
not even close. Not even close.
But
Yeah.
I mean, there are other things, once you take jobs on these sets, you could be happier doing something else, you
Right.
know, in the industry, but you don't have to get cocky about it
Right.
because
Absolutely.
then you're going to lose that so-called following that you have because you're
Right.
cocky, you
Right.
know?
Yeah.
Seriously, people don't get it. They
Yeah.
don't, and hopefully one day they will, but I doubt it, you know? I mean,
Yeah, I know
I
it's
doubt
hard.
it.
One of my buddies has been a close friend for many years. Name's Kiko Ellsworth. Kiko is he's been on lots of TV shows, lots of movies. If you ever watch Bad Boys 2 with Will Smith and Martin Lawrence, he was they fight the Haitians in Bad Boys 2. He's the blonde Haitian with the dreadlocks in Bad Boys 2, one of the main bad guys. And so Kiko, when he got that movie, he became very arrogant, and we've had discussions about this.
Mhm.
And Will Smith pulled him aside one day, and he's like, "What are you doing?" It's like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Why are you acting like that? Like you're acting like you're better than everybody else. This is a job. Like you're lucky to have it. It can go away." And I don't remember exactly what Will said to him, but it put things in perspective. And of course, Will Smith's had his own issues in the past too with everything he's been, dealing with. But it put things in perspective for Kiko, and he changed as a person at that point. It put things like, wait, I don't have to put on this front that I'm better than you because I'm in a big movie or things like that. And it changed his outlook. And when I became friends with Kiko, he did my very first movie as an actor in 2005, and I had known him just vaguely because as an actor I did a movie with Kiko in 2002 or something where I first met. And I remember when I did my movie, I was talking to him, and I wanted to thank him for the first time we met because he was really cool in that movie set. And I actually auditioned for the role that he got. I had no idea. I'm about to audition for this role, and it's my first leading role audition, and I'm about to audition for it. I'd never read for the director before, a guy named J.L. Davis. I'd never been in the casting office. Casting director was Pamela Staten. Never been in a big office like this in my life. And right before I go to read, the director says, "I don't know if I should tell you now or after you read." And I'm like, "Well, don't drop that bomb on me for my audition. Like, tell me now." And he
Right.
goes, I was like, "That doesn't do me any good." He goes, "Well, the part you're reading for was just cast. We had an offer out to a name actor and he took it. So there is no more role." And I said, "Oh, okay." I said, "Well, I prepared for this role. I've never been in the office. If you guys have time, I'd love to still at least read for you so you can at least get a feel of who I am. I understand the role's been taken." And they agreed. It was really nice. And I read for the role. And of course, I didn't get it. But I got a call a few days later. My agent called and said that J.L. Davis and Pamela Staten, after I read, I guess appreciated that. And they actually wrote a small part in the movie for me, which is really cool.
That's
Movie
cool.
called The Diplomat, and I got to play the boyfriend of the girl that was kidnapped in this. The movie's about she hurt and kidnapped, and I played the boyfriend. So a couple lines, not a big deal, but it was my
Okay.
first big film. And so when I show up on set, I want to see who this guy is that got the part over me, and it was Kiko. So he walks out, and oh my god, I wanted to hate him. He was so nice, and I was like, "Dude, be a jerk, so I can hate you." He was so cool. He was so nice. But then years later, when we talked, he didn't remember the first time we met, and I asked him about that. And he goes, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry. Was I a jerk to you or was I nice?" I said, "No, you were super nice." He goes, "Okay, good," because I was a jerk to a lot of people, and I regret it. It was my encounter was after his Will Smith moment, as it went on, and it put things in perspective right there to always be nice to everybody no matter what, and that it's just stuff like getting a role doesn't mean you're better than anybody else, and it kind of put me in check early in my career too, and that was a big lesson.
That's
And
awesome that Will checked him like that, you know what I mean?
right.
Because and I've liked Will, well, I still like Will, you know what I mean?
Mm.
Well, my favorite movie by Will Smith, honestly, I know he's done the new ones, but my favorite one is The Pursuit of Happiness
Oh, he's great. Yeah,
because
absolutely.
I've been not well, I've been in this like that situation when I was young.
Mm.
So I felt that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because I just felt it, especially that bathroom scene when he's in that bathroom, with the little boy, his son, Jaden.
Yeah.
I had to think, but oh my god, yeah, that's one of my favorites. So I mean, to check somebody that's
Yeah.
almost about to lose it because they made it,
Right.
you
And
know.
that was the mentality, I think. And I don't want to put words in Kiko's mouth because he's been very vocal about this himself. That's why I feel
Yeah.
comfortable speaking on it, and we become really good friends. I've
That's
known Kiko now
awesome.
for almost 20 years. We've actually
Yeah.
produced 2 movies together. He's been in several of my movies. He has a daughter, my daughter's age. They grew up together. So I don't know I don't remember the exact. I don't want to misquote, but that was the gist of what happened. But it put things in perspective that no matter what you get, it doesn't mean you're better than anybody else.
Yeah.
And it's just a thing. It's just what we're doing. We're making movies. We're directing. We're writing. We're acting. Whatever it is. And
It's jobs.
it's jobs. Just
Jobs.
jobs. Yeah.
It's a job. I've stressed that so many times
Right.
on these. It's a job. It doesn't make anybody better than the other. Some jobs are just more fun.
Yeah.
Some jobs aren't that fun. It just
Right.
depends on where you're at. You know what I mean? But
Right.
it's a job.
Hmm.
There's no point in ever acting like you're ever better than anybody else because it
Right.
doesn't matter. You can be up here and then boom,
Oh yeah, it can go away. And it's, I
that's it.
mean, house
Yeah.
fire, top of the world. Next day, house burns down. Done. Back to level 1. It can
Yeah.
in any regard happen to anybody anytime. So having that appreciation, I try to have that appreciation with everything.
Yeah.
Uh, and it's hard sometimes because you want things, you want to have success, and I want to see my family happy and do things. And when it doesn't always happen, you like, oh come on. But just living in the moment and appreciating it, and that's what we're trying to do. We try to teach that at our studio for actors too. That if they're a jerk right now before they've even done anything, no one's ever gonna want to work with them.
Yeah.
And teaching them how to be a professional actor, showing up on set, being on time, being ready to work, and contributing, not just like, I need this and this and this. I want my dressing room to have this. I want my dressing room to have this. And I've dealt with actors like that. I've fired actors like that. My very first film, the biggest name in our entire film, she was a lead on a major television series. I knew her before she had a credit on her resume. We were in the same acting class together when I first started. And that was the connection. So when her show ended, I asked her if she'd be the lead in our movie, and she said yes. And she came to set, and it was this incredible diva attitude and energy. My crew just did not want to work with her. She was rude. She was mean. So 5 days in, I had to fire her, even though knowing she was the biggest name in our movie, and she was a name that could potentially sell the movie. But I had to fire her because it was just not the right fit. And that was really, really hard because it was my first film I'd ever done as a director, and getting rid of your only like big name in the entire thing was really a challenge. But for me, it was the sacrifice. I was like, I don't want to work with somebody who is this thing. Like literally it was, I need this kind of ice cream at 3 in the morning or I'm not working. I need this kind of salad or I'm not working. And it was like, wait a minute.
Seriously?
This isn't that kind of movie. This isn't a $200 million movie. My first budget, I had $256,000 or $257,000 budget, which is not a lot of money for a feature film. It's a lot of, it's $250,000, a lot of money, but it's not a lot of money for a feature film to put it all in. And she knew that going in. And to make those demands, it was just, and she was rude, and
If it would have been before going in, I would have just went a different direction to begin with.
so she was fine going in. I did have some issues with her agent a little bit, kind of showing a little bit of that diva side, but I chalked it up to her agent being an agent. Um, with the air accommodations and things like that. They had a layover, and the agent was like, "No, she needs to fly straight. She doesn't need to." And I'm like, "Okay, well, she didn't want to fly alone, so she's flying with a cast member who's a friend of hers, and so the only flight we could get this last minute was." We're battling all this stuff, but I chalked up the agent. But when she got there and said it was attitude and ego, and it's like, wow, it's just too much.
I can't deal with divas.
You
I'm
know,
too grounded. I'm too down to earth
yeah,
to deal with a diva. It'd rather it be a guy or a girl because guys
right.
can be the same way. You
Oh
know what I
yeah,
mean? I just
for sure,
can't do it.
for sure.
Definitely can't do
In
it.
fact, Jonathan Breck, who I mentioned earlier, who's the creeper in the Jeepers Creepers movies. So I did a movie with him in Lawton, Oklahoma, of all places, back in 2000, like 3 or 4, and military base. So we go to shoot, and we fly into airport, and I think in maybe Dallas, and we drove up to Lawton. I don't remember exactly; it was a long time ago. But when I get there, this production assistant picks us up at the airport, loads my bags in the back of the car. We go to the airport. He checks us in. He's like, "Here's your hotel key. I'll be picking you guys up in the morning at this time to be done a lot." Totally, really awesome production assistant. It's really amazing. So nice, so friendly. If any questions, call me. I'm in room, whatever, 115, whatever it was. Great, guy's amazing. Next day, pick us up in the morning. Hey, you guys sleep okay? Anything you need? No, he's amazing. We drive onto the set. We get in there. I meet the director for the first time because at the audition, you don't meet the director. They're in the background watching. You don't talk to him. So I get to meet the director for the first time, a guy named David Henry. And we're sitting there on our big like set, and we're in the Lawton, Oklahoma. It's a military base out there, and the PA, the director, goes up and goes, "Hey, congrats, man! Your movie's #1 in the box office in the country right now." And we're like, "Wait, what?" The production assistant, he goes, "Yeah, that's Jonathan Breck. He plays the Creeper. He's the star of the Jeepers Creepers movie, which is #1 in the country right now, Jeepers Creepers 2." And I'm like, "What?" He goes, "Yeah, he's the star of this movie." No clue, because he was so humble, and he's like, "Hey, I've already checked in. Let me help." Never once he'd be like, "I'm a big star," and that energy really stuck with me forever. You know, he never once bragged about anything. He just did his thing, and he was helping us out, and he was so gracious. He was amazing, and I really. I said, I want to be like that. I want to have that energy where it's no, everybody's on the same playing field. We're all trying to come together for a common goal of telling the best story. And he was awesome at that. So forever.
That's a creepy ass movie, man.
I know. I know.
I think it was I've seen 1 or 2 of them. Oh my God. And then the music.
Oh yeah.
I'm just like,
oh yeah.
And I love horror movies, you know what I mean? But just that music and then that guy, oh my God.
Yeah, and we actually went to the theater. It was fun. We went to the theater in Oklahoma while it was still playing and sat there with him and watched the movie. I think he was more embarrassed. We were all with him, watching it, but we kind of made him do it. But it was really cool. I'm like, the #1 movie in America right now, and I'm sitting next to the star of the movie, but he's as humble as he could be, and you never in a million years would have known it. And I really thought that's really cool. That's really, really cool, so, yeah.
All right. I'm going to wrap this interview up. I want you to stay on. All right, you guys, thank you for watching. We are definitely saying, thank God you are still here with us, David. And thank you for being on here.
Yeah, I'm glad I can be here today.
Right. All right, guys, see you later.
Thank you for having me. Bye, guys.
Yeah, it's over, baby. You said that you love me, you said that you care, you say that you will die for me, girl, but you know that just hot air. I don't care what you say, I don't care what you do. No need to look to your left, girl, cause nothing belongs to you. Now you try me, you know you can't run them games on me. Now you creeping, I saw you stepping out with that G, yeah. Say what you wanna say, do what you wanna do, play how you wanna play. It's over, it's over, it's over, it's over. Say what you wanna say, do what you wanna do, play how you wanna play. It's over, you know it, you know it. No more playing with my mind, no more wasting all my time, no more telling all your girlfriends that you're spending every dime. You know you don't get nothing from me. It's time to set your whole heart free.